ever. Just make sure you can see what we're doing. You can. Get this computer fired up. Okay guys, welcome back to Roberts & Co. Welcome back to London. Another live jewellery making session tonight. We're going to make some 2x1mm D-shape wedding bands, sterling silver, a classic. Now, I've been making this wire. This is 2x1mm D-shape wire. It took me the last few weeks to make this. Obviously not a full-time job, but you know, I was doing bits every day. We melted it, and also it went horribly wrong the first time I melted it down. It nearly went wrong the second time, but I think I've perfected it. You'd think I'd have it perfected by now, wouldn't you? The amount of time of the decades I've been doing this. But we need to make, I've run out of certain sizes. I'd run out quite a while ago, certain sizes of this. So we need to fill in the blanks in our stock. Just want to turn on this computer and get the YouTube copyright free music going. I think we're going to make size W's tonight. I've got a little sheet. Yeah, I'm going to make a couple of size W's. I need some as well, but we'll do those another day. Let's make 2 or 3 size W's. So I need 68mm-ish. This is actually, the weights on here are actually for 9-carat yellow. I don't know where the silver one is. We make them in, it's a classic, isn't it, 2x1D. So yeah, make it in 9-carat gold, 18-carat gold. Don't do platinum at the moment. Basically because I've got to mess around with figuring out how to make the wire. That's another learning curve that is going to be, because apparently our steel draw plates, I haven't actually tried it. We'll have to F around and find out, won't we? But yeah, apparently drawing platinum is not, it's not a thing, and you can't get all the, we've got a massive collection of vintage draw plates and all different sizes and profiles, and rumour has it you need tungsten for platinum, and they don't do draw plates, tungsten carbide draw plates in all those profiles. So that's the tooling's not available apparently. I don't know, we'll figure it out, we'll figure something out. We could just stick them through the rolling mill, I suppose, but it's quite inconsistent rolling shaped wire. Right, 68mm. I say 68mm? Yeah. Don't know why I'm looking at that under magnification, it made it hard as a look. So what I need to do, cut a couple of ring blanks, shape them using the ring shank former, pickle them, solder them, pickle them, size them using the ring sizer. We need to stamp them 925 sterling silver as well. I've probably jammed that in the back of there. Right, there's not a lot left there. Is that enough to make a ring? Yes, it is. Let's use the offcut. And make a small ring. It's not actually going to be that small. Right? Let's go for about 50 mil. And we can put the end in the melt pot. Ah, saw blade went. Is that a saw blade there? Yeah. I don't know why I've got a saw blade there, but I have. Oh, so that's massive, that's why. I think that's a 3.0. Have I got any 8.0 saw blades left? Two O's. I think that's what I needed to buy was some 8.0 saw blades. See what's in there. I think these are 2 O's, I've got loads of them. I need to get some more 8.0s. They were good, they were, but they're the thinnest saw blade available, and I like them, but they break. I don't break them, they just break. Right, that size of that one will be a surprise. Hopefully these two will be size W's. I say this every time I make these, but I like to slightly oversize them and then reduce them down, as opposed to slightly undersizing them, stretching them up. Reducing them down produces a better looking ring, I think. But it uses more metal, so you know, the accountants will be very unhappy. Right, we need to stamp them. This wooden block's coming. I like this. The idea of this. That was a great idea I had. An oak bench block. The wood, the bench is made out of English beech. Well, I couldn't find it. Or could I? I don't think I looked. I probably could. It was probably really expensive. Oak just grows on trees around here, so it was cheap. Actually, it weren't that cheap, I don't think. It was about 20 quid. They sell them for like woodworkers to do whatever they're. I don't know what they do with them. Turn them into bar, like turning. I think they do with them, or chisel them out. Or woodworking projects they sell it for on the internet. This was a really small lump. I actually found it. A lot of the lumps of wood are a little bit bigger than this. Found the perfect size to fit there, luckily. We'll have to start a woodworking channel next. Right, let's shape those. This really needs cleaning. State. That's a video, isn't it? Cleaning my bender. Right, where's that little one? This is a Durston one of these. They didn't come up with the design. They've been available for decades. But I quite like the fact that they do the plastic, hard plastic or Delrin dyes. The metal ones do mark. Not bad. It's not like they take big, they do mark, they mark it, and it's not badly. I've got, obviously it comes with the metal dies and these are extra. I tried them. They'll probably polish up quite nicely after a while, whereas these ones will probably fall apart quite nicely after a while. But yeah, the plastic dies is a nice touch. I've got the bigger set. I bought the bigger one, but I've been putting off unboxing it so that I can make a video about unboxing it and using it. But I've been putting it off for about 2 years. So if it's missing bits, they're not going to believe me, are they? Took 2, 3. In fact, I've probably had it since 2021 or something. I've had it years. Right, flat half round pliers, and there's our ring blanks. Two size W's. I don't know what the little one is. I can find out actually because it's 50mm. What is the little one? The little one is going to be H or I. Just going to line up the joints, flat half round pliers, half round on the inside, flat on the outside. And then if the joint's not perfect, I'll run the saw blade through it. This wire is fully annealed, so the bigger the ring, the trickier that is. I can't see what I'm doing. I won't. It's not that the joints aren't perfectly straight and lined up, they are, but they're sort of V'd like that, so they're meeting at the bottom, it's just the, and they're not quite, you know, they're not meeting equally, or they could be, you know, they're actually meeting. So that's why I run the saw blade through. But occasionally you'll get them where they're not straight. But it's more that they're just a little bit tapered. They'll still solder together, but what you're effectively doing is filling the gap, not just soldering the two ends together, and that can cause issues later down the line. The main issue is the solder ages. It's a slightly different. The solder's a different alloy. It's a lower melting point alloy. Usually, it's just higher in zinc. It's a mix of silver and zinc is quite grey compared to silver. Yeah, you know, in isolation, if I showed you a bar of polished zinc, probably even I would, but because I've got bars of zinc, it's not. Think of sort of like it's not as dark as lead. Steel maybe, mild steel. It's just slightly greyer. But yeah, as it ages a slightly different colour. So if you use it as filler, it looks fine when it's new and polished and all that. It just doesn't age as well. But no, it doesn't. It's not that it doesn't age as well. It tarnishes, and it will. The patina that it gains with age is different. So it stands out like a sore thumb. And it's not just that is not just that's an issue that's not actually just limited to not having a close fitting solder joint and you using solder to sort of fill the joint. Can also occur if you don't clean off the excess solder. So if you end up with solder either side of the joint and you don't clean it off, you just polish it and it's still there, you'll get the same thing. Sort of a variation in colour. It doesn't, and it's actually more pronounced if the ring's just held in stock for a long time, as opposed to if it's worn. Because if it's worn, especially if it's worn regularly, it will never material. The ring will be scratched and scuffed and burnished and just polished with daily wear. It won't have a chance to tarnish in normal wear. So, you know, if you're in a rush, you don't want to solder saw through the saw joints. You want to use solder as filler, and too much of it, just rhodium plate it. Yeah, it'll be fine. Until the rhodium wears off. That is the that's no joke, this is what people do. They're normally not the customer facing people. That's the manufacturers flogging it to retailers. The retailers haven't got a clue. They could be selling shoes. They know how to sell jewellery, they haven't got a clue how to make it. And they haven't got a clue what all the people that are making it are up to. They couldn't tell you if something's rhodium plated or not. They've got no idea. But you know what? Like, that's not. I'm not knocking retailing, man. I'd rather sit at a bench, make the jewellery, than stand in a shop talking to the public. That's a tough gig, man. Public are mean. They're horrible. Anyone who works in retail knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's brutal. But if you can't make the jewellery, you've got to stand in the shop and talk to the customers about it. That's the deal. Right, I'm just going at the solder joints with a cut 4 file to clean off the burrs for one, but also with this handmade wire. Did I mention this is handmade? The handmade wire we made. We handmade this wire. I've been doing it for weeks. We make the wire in house. The thing with this handmade wire, I haven't tested this batch out, but it's almost like it's anodised. There's an oxide layer, and it can only be silver oxide, but it's like there's an silver oxide on it. And when you try and solder it without filing the surface off, and you have to file it. I've tried barreling it with abrasive barreling compounds. I've tried electromagnetic polishing it. I haven't tried. I was going to use a word there that might get some trouble. You know, mixing peroxide and ammonia. Stripping it with chemicals. I haven't tried that. But unless you mechanically take the a little bit of the surface off, it's almost like it's dirty, like or oily or greasy, and it's not. I've tried, you know. It sort of repels the solder. It ends up flying all around the ring and not through the joint. It's bizarre. feature of handmade wire that you don't get with bullion dealer wire. And I really don't know what it is, but I don't think anyone knows. Because I thought silver oxide was black, but what was on this is not silver oxide in the way it's tarnished. But then there is a way, I know, in fact, what I might have to try, the silver bright units that are sort of anti-tarnish do something like passivation, which is like anodizing, you can't see it. It's almost like I'm somehow doing that without the electrolysis. I don't know what it is. Unless I I've got a silver bright unit somewhere. Unless I could try flipping it around the other way and trying to unsilver bright it with electrolysis. I think it's just caustic and electrolysis. I'm using hard solder. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm supposed to be air cooling, not quenching. Oops. Habits, eh? Yeah, in the process of making the wire, I discovered that quenching sterling silver is problematic. I've not had the problems quenching solder jobs, but it caused a lot of problems making ingots and then wire, like a lot of problems. So it's not that I don't think it's that the problems don't exist when you're quenching solder jobs. They just, because you're not doing too much work to the metal, but it's not being rolled out or drawn out. They don't manifest themselves into, well, you don't get the blistering for one, but the porosity must still be there to some extent, so they could be taking on board water. But it doesn't. I've had problems with antique coins blistering, but never rings or anything like that. Nothing else, just coins. Right, let's get to work on this one. There's our freshly soldered ring. Just need to clean off the excess solder, especially on the inside, and then we can size this. Right, let's round that off. What I try and do is remove all the excess solder from the inside but leave a little bit on the outside because it provides a little bit of strength to the solder joint when you're forming the ring. And then I get rid of it before I do the actual compressing it or anything like that, because it will indent. So that is nearly an eye. I'm going to reduce that down to a size H. Pretty close now. Really soft, this wire. Right, there we go, H. And because these are handmade rings, they start out quite wavy, quite wobbly, but then reducing them down, we get quite a flat, nice sort of almost machine-like. If you put it on the ring stick, the right. Say that, and this one looks wonky, but it's not. It's just the way it's on the ring stick. It is flat. So yeah, that's the size H. Done. Next, these are the W's. These are the ones I actually wanted to make. Let's get these out, clean off the. Which one did I do first? Not that one. Clean off the flux. There we go. Just clean off the excess solder. What I quite like, ideally I'd have the excess solder on the outside, as I was saying, to provide extra additional strength to the joint when I'm rounding it off, because they can break. So the solder is attracted to the heat. It does tend to flow to the hottest part. So I'm deliberately attempting to heat up the outside. You know, get the outside hotter than the inside. With this D-shaped wire, it just doesn't work. The inside ends up hotter than the outside all the time. It must just be something to do with the shape and the surface area. Physics and science beyond my pay grade. But despite my trying to heat up the outside, the inside's hotter. And therefore, that's where the excess solder ends up. I've got virtually none on the outside. Right, W1/2, which is great. You can size that down to a W. Because these are tapered on the way down and the way up, you sort of have to reverse the ring to get it parallel in effect. You can't just do it one side, because one side will then be a different side to the other side. And what you can actually end up doing, like to some extent, is you can go to reduce a ring, and because it's so out of, because it's tapered, I could look at this freshly made and it'd be W1/2, and then I go to taper it down and it ends up like half a size bigger, which is just from it then becoming perfectly round, but also where the taper's at. Like, the first attempt, because of the way that you can reduce them and end up with a bigger ring. Like vice versa, you could probably do it the other way as well. Now I'll show you this. This is quite a good. This is almost an example of that. Minor, but it's there. So on this W, look, that's just below the line. And then the other side is on the line. So when we're talking fractions of a millimetre across the width of it, you'd never, unless we had this ring gauge, you'd never spot that. And even like, we're talking like, if I, like, the distance between like the W and the X is probably like 1 millimetre in diameter. So the difference between that, how that translates, the width of that engraved line to the overall circumference from the left side of the ring to the right, from one side of the ring to the other. We're talking fractions of a 0.00 something of a mil. But you can end up with, if you're doing like a 4 mil, 5 mil, you can end up with one side half a size bigger or smaller than the other, which is something you have to work out, understand and You basically have to flip the rings. It's the same though on a triplet. With the triplets, you'll often notice that when I'm hammering it, I'll hammer it and then I'll flip the ring and hammer it again. It's no different on the old-fashioned way with tapered steel triplets and a hammer. Same thing. Yeah, all the excess solder on the inside again. This one actually, so there might be a spot of porosity in the joint there, but it was just the seam. I've learned now, if you get porosity in the solder joint, just redo it. Don't try and file it out, don't try and polish it out. Just solder it again before you mess around. It seems like it'd be quicker to polish it, but it's not. Just reheat, file it back, touch more solder, heat it up. If that doesn't work, run a saw blade through it. You just make it a mess. End up thinning the ring, revealing more porosity. W1/2 again. Show you where we're starting from. See a slightly oversized ring. About a W1/2. Also, it's probably slightly wavy. It's not too bad actually, but yeah, you can see look, a slight wave there. So that's why I like to compress it, because it takes the wave out. So there we go. So that's W leading edge. And flat. Still, obviously, all these need a proper polish. And sometimes after you've polished them, they need redoing. Or not obviously completely redoing, but what the polishing can reveal, like I was saying, you can reveal porosity in the solder joint, which wasn't visible before until they're highly polished. If it's minuscule, sometimes you don't notice it. Like I was saying, it's better just to reheat the joint, a little bit more solder, flow it again. And worse, if that doesn't work after 2 or 3 goes, you've got to run a blade through it and properly but at that point you're making a different size ring. It's going to be smaller. Sometimes the size, micro adjusting the size after it's polished, sometimes there might be a burr or something left on there. Readjusting the size, a fraction of a size, no issue whatsoever actually. That's quite, just has to be, that's a real simple job, and then it just needs back on the really quick, just need to show it to the polishing machine. But yeah, sometimes after polishing problems arise, but they're usually very straightforward to fix. Right, so we've got 2, what do we make tonight? 2 W's, 2 size W's and a H. Right, see you next one. More rings. Toodles.